Hey guys, welcome back to another of Cameron's reviews, where I play an entire game on stream and give you guys my opinion on it. My name is CameronLesan, and today we're going to be talking about Mass Effect 3. This is a direct follow-up of Mass Effect 2, where it continues down the path of a single-player sci-fi RPG. However, this time the combat and roleplay have honestly been downgraded. I'm not going to waste your time here. Mass Effect 3 is a great game. I liked this game. The storyline and character development, as well as overall aesthetics of Mass Effect 3, make Mass Effect 1 and 2 worth the playthrough to get to this game. The stunning conclusion of the series is seriously breathtaking, but there's a lot to go over. Before we dive into the review, I want to say I've played through Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 on stream over at twitch.tv/CameronLesan and facebook.com/CameronLesan. And you can see both playthroughs over at my YouTube channel, CameronLesan's VODs. You can also check out my review of Mass Effect 2 down below. Just a disclaimer, this game did come out in 2012, but I'll try to limit spoilers as much as I can. And so if you haven't played the game yet, you can still enjoy this video without spoiling yourself. But since this game has been out for over 8 years, I'm not too worried about spoiling some smaller events. This game wraps up the preceding games with its storytelling and progression. You're constantly traveling to different worlds, and each one is unique in its own way. There's a constant state of emergency anytime you land in a new area, because you know there are implications for you to even be there in the first place. Danger lurking around every corner, and the end of the galaxy looms overhead. However, the side missions felt lackluster and short. Often I would be confused on what I was supposed to be doing or where I needed to go, as opposed to the previous game where I enjoyed the side missions more than the main storyline. Now, a big question you may be asking is, do you need to play Mass Effect 1 and 2 to enjoy this game? The short answer is no, you don't need to play the previous title to enjoy this game. However, I would recommend you do, because this game is a direct sequel. And although the game reiterates a lot of the content from the first and second game, that's really not enough. So try and find a way to play the first and second one. This game feels like a conclusion of all the build-up of the previous titles, so you may be a bit lost without them. Mass Effect 3 picks up a couple of years after the events of the second game. You play as Captain Shepard, who was relieved of duty for working with Cerberus, a terrorist group who is one of the main antagonists of this game. You operate with the Galactic Government's authority and do a bunch of neat stuff. A bunch of Reapers, or machines bent on wiping the universe's organic life, starts attacking various planets, killing everyone on them. It's your job to unite the galaxy's races and defeat a common enemy. You spend a lot of the time in this game on your ship, the USS Normandy. Anytime you complete a mission or escape to a new area, you can usually find something new in it, whether it's having a new conversation with a crewmate or admiring your fish. The Normandy is full of life wherever you go. However, the meat of this game lies in its combat-heavy portions of the game. The combat feels way better than Mass Effect 1, but stayed very similar to how Mass Effect 2 played. This game felt very much like a hide-and-shoot game. Now, there are powers you have access to, but they're reliant on what class you chose and crewmates you have, and less about finding or learning powers along the way. You can still upgrade your abilities, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel very rewarding when you do so. The main variety comes in the weapons you find throughout the game. I played the game mostly using a pistol, an SMG, and an assault rifle. The variety in these categories really spice up the gunplay and make the game way more enjoyable. By the way, the laser assault rifle has unlimited ammo and is super fun. 10 out of 10 would recommend. There are less enemy types in this game compared to the previous titles, as you're mostly just fighting two factions throughout. This game is also really easy when playing on normal difficulty. I rarely died when playing the entire 26-hour playthrough I had. However, there are some epic moments throughout the game that really make you feel like you're an ant trying to stop an army.
What? What just happened?
There are still merchants that lock pieces behind progression, but money was never an issue for me. In fact, I had so much that I didn't know what to spend it on. Mini games in this game are very similar to the last one, where you're shooting probes at a planet, but you only have to do it once instead of like 1.5 million times. This minigame takes a lot of time and effort, but generally you're rewarded, where you can also use these materials as war assets, which changes the end of the game. This minigame also incorporates more world building, as it lets you scour the universe and see more planets and learn a little bit more about the environment. It's not exactly the most engaging, but hey, it's something. I generally enjoy being on a planet though, instead of just staring at a planet and reading a description. There are no puzzles in this game. This game is all story based and shoot at enemies, but that's okay because the aesthetic is so cool. I mean, you get to be in space and see lots of cool things. However, this game really didn't delve into character progression like the previous ones. I mean, I get it. This universe is ginormous, but I didn't really feel like I got to explore that in this game. However, there's a lot of replayability, as there are several different endings, all depending on your choices throughout the entirety of the game. These decisions are drastic. There are several times in this game where you choose one thing, one of your crewmates dies. Or if you choose another one of your former crewmates will die. Actually, this game is pretty morbid if I had to think about it. These decisions, however, are one of the major drawing points for playing the Mass Effect series, as it's yet to be replicated anywhere else. If you know of a game that has, let me know in the comments down below. I actually didn't have many problems with glitches in this game. Well, I would say that. I might have had one or two, but they weren't game breaking, and I didn't really feel like they were a big deal, as opposed to the last two games where my characters bugged out or I couldn't see anything or I'd be stuck in midair. Missions felt meaningful, but the pacing felt a little slow. The stunning conclusion felt kind of lackluster, especially with the ending that I chose that I didn't mean to choose. In this game, I started taking more characters with me on different missions, depending on my needs at the time. Like if I was fighting a specific enemy type, then I would take a character that would counter them better. In the previous titles, I didn't feel like I needed to do that. I would just choose the same people over and over because I believed they were the best teammates I could have in any scenario. But in this game, I had to think about it a little more in depth, like taking Liara to Sony in order to lift up enemies, or Tali anytime I was fighting any Geth. These characters have different abilities that tend to do more against other types of enemies. However, these characters' backstories were really explored in the previous games, so there wasn't really much character progression in this game as opposed to the last ones. Now don't get me wrong, they are new characters and new people to interact with, and even a spicy moment that I didn't expect, but it all just felt lackluster. I really felt like the side missions were just filler content. There's so much lore and backstory for every character in the game, but I just felt a little lost in this instance. Everyone has something they're fighting for or working towards, and it's really interesting to find that out. But as this game is the conclusion of the series, it just didn't feel like I needed to do every one of the side missions. However, I did do all the side missions. I needed to have more effective military strength or something like that, so that I can choose whatever ending I wanted at the end of the game. This game felt more like a political drama, as opposed to the previous games. I didn't really vibe with that. Building emotional connections and making characters feel alive is something that BioWare has done very well in past Mass Effect games. However, I just didn't feel that in this one. You can get new abilities by doing certain side missions as well for your crewmates, but I feel like it didn't even really matter because my gunplay just took precedent in this game over ability play. I did enjoy some missions and some ability play, and seeing my past romance Jack and interacting with her some more was great. However, Mass Effect 3 made me feel way more disconnected to the characters compared to the first and second game. I used to love getting to learn the lore and backstory for so many characters. It's really a shame this game fell short. However, I did feel a lot of emotion whenever a crewmate of mine would die, something that I'd grown very close to in past games and spending a lot of time with. And in this game, I actually cried at least 3 times. I really didn't expect that kind of emotion from me. And if you're a science fiction fan, then you would love this game. I still think it's worth playing. I still think you need to play it if you play the other iterations, or if you're just interested in the series. I personally would give this game a solid 7 out of 10. I'm giving you some pros and cons, and of course my opinion of it, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments down below. If you played the game before, let me know what you thought of Mass Effect 3, or maybe who your favorite character was. Anything at all in the comments down below. While you're there, why not like and subscribe? Thanks for watching. I'm CameronLesan, and I'll see you next time. Peace.